basking in the sun and foraging for food, a natural existence that promotes their physical and mental well-being. However, they don't produce many eggs, usually only around 100 to 120 eggs a year, and they are also smaller in size, weighing around 40 to 45 grams each. But all of their eggs are tastier and have a higher level of omega-3 fatty acids, vitamins, and minerals. The more active chickens also produce a more flavorful and firmer meat that turns bright yellow when cooked. The journey of mountain chicken farming begins with high-quality eggs from a reputable hatchery. The chicks are still very weak, so farmers will keep everything clean, wash their troughs twice a day, and also give them medicine as prescribed by veterinarians. As chicks grow, organic food sources such as greens and forage are also provided in order to get them used to the food on the mountain. On a favourable day, the chickens are released onto the hills early in the morning, where they spend almost all of their day. Farmers follow and live stream them to build an online customer base in order to increase sales. The hills where the chickens roam are dotted with trees, providing ample shade and opportunity for the birds to perch, play, and even catch insects. The diet of free-range chickens is as diverse as their surroundings and are fed outdoors like this. In the summer, farmers hardly feed them because there is so many grasshoppers around. Some farmers get creative and encourage their chickens to run more by feeding them behind a moving car like this. Studies from Our World in Data have shown that free-range chickens experience 57 to 70% less pain and suffering compared to their caged counterparts. Recognizing the benefits of free-range practices, the EU plans to ban the use of any cage by 2027. To encourage egg laying, farmers can 1,000 chickens can yield up to 9,400 eggs each day. Despite their large numbers, manual labour remains high in order to provide jobs for the locals in rural areas. Once collected, the eggs undergo a simple inspection and sorting process. To preserve the natural protective layer on the eggshell, they are only lightly cleaned. Workers carefully place the eggs into cardboard or plastic trays, ensuring that they are well protected during transportation. These trays are then loaded onto trucks and delivered to local markets and pre-ordered customers. Large-scale free-range egg producers often have their own on-site packing facilities, capable of packaging and barn can comfortably house around 600 chickens. Some farmers prepare fresh feed daily, combining locally grown ingredients from their hills with feed pellets. And of course, regular clean water is a must for these active chickens. The location of free-range farms is carefully chosen to minimize the risk of predation. However, in some cases, natural predators such as hawks and foxes may pose a threat. To protect their chickens, farmers remove bushes and predators' potential hiding places around the barn. They also build sturdy fences and regularly check the surrounding areas for signs of predator activities and transported to the local slaughterhouse. In large-scale operations on this farm, chickens are harvested in batches and transported to facilities on cool days to minimize stress and heat shock. With a capacity to process up to 15,000 chickens per hour, these facilities ensure a smooth and timely operation. Chickens are stunned either using gas or electrified water baths to render them unconscious. The chickens are then bled, passed through a hot water bath at around 55 degrees Celsius which loosens their feathers, which are then removed using an automated feather removal machine. The legs and internal organs are then removed and packaged separately. The carcasses undergo multiple washing stages. This is simply because it's delicious but super low fat compared to other meats in the typical American diet. Though the US is the largest importer of goats, making a profit from goat farming here isn't easy. Many livestock were killed by coyotes in the past, and today their range is expanding at twice the rate of other carnivores in North America. So how do American farmers solve this problem? And how do they raise more than 2.5 million goats to meet this booming market? If you've ever visited a goat farm, you might be impressed by how friendly they are, like little dogs. But not all goats are like that. Male goats, or bucks, are rather aggressive and domineering. So farmers usually separate them from the herd, except in the fall from late August to early January. The risk of death for nannies is also high. A few hours after giving birth, farmers must ensure that the placenta has been delivered completely. Otherwise, it can cause septicemia, meaning blood poisoning and even death. After about 8 weeks of bottle feeding, the kids are castrated to prevent inbreeding. Now, they gain at least about 0.3 pounds per day, but breast milk can no longer provide enough essential nutrients for this growth rate. So farmers have to take them out to pasture so that nannies can wean them. Unlike in the past, milking system called pit parlour. The first thing other farms usually do is disinfect the goat's udders with iodine. But at this farm, they play jazz music. They've tried different types of music, but this is the only type that the goats enjoy and don't startle when they're milked. This soft milking tube gently squeezes and releases, similar to how baby goats suckle. The milking process only takes a few minutes while they are nibbling on food and may not even realize they are being milked. Each year, this farm harvests about 6,000 gallons of goat milk. The freshly harvested milk is then cooled and transported to Cypress Grove's renowned creamery facility. Over the past 4 decades, tons of cheese have been produced here and shipped across the country. But Humboldt Fog stands out of the pasture. Today, it is still practiced by many large and long-standing farms, such as White Oak Pasture in Georgia. With a large herd like this, farmers have to rotate pastures every 3 days because they eat so quickly. This also helps reduce the risk of worm infestation in goats. But this freedom also comes with a major risk: coyotes. You know, goats have very good eyesight, so they can go outside at night on their own. But this is also when coyotes go hunting. They often target kids or even lone adult goats separated from the herd. It's daily work. Farmers also have to do many other jobs on the farm to ensure the best development of the goat herd, such as building shelters from the rain and cold so they don't get sick, trim their hooves regularly so they don't get sore feet or hoof rot. But that's not all. US goat farmers still have to do a rather controversial job, which is hunting coyotes. And more than 67 coyotes can be found in one night on this farm. In 2015, 83,000 goats died under the sharp teeth and lightning-fast reflexes of coyotes. This number accounts for a whopping 65% of the total goats that died that year. According to National Geographic, the US kills over 476,000 coyotes each year, but still can't control their numbers. This animal is thriving in 49 out of 50 states and also gradually heading toward the western US. So in addition to hunting guard dogs, such as some processing plants may use scalding and dehairing methods to improve carcass hygiene. After removing organs and cleaning, the carcasses are graded and inspected based on fat and muscle content. Then they are chilled to prevent bacterial growth. Finally, they can be cut into pieces, packaged and distributed to the market and consumers. In 2022, the US exported $1.47 million of goat meat and imported $128 million, mainly from Australia. Therefore, there is still a great demand for goat meat in the country. And that's how the goat farming industry in the US has developed sustainably over the years. The seafood industry in Korea contributes significantly to the domestic economy and the global seafood market. The outstanding development of this industry is thanks to the active activities of fishermen. Now let's learn how Korean fishermen process millions of squid, mackerel and pollock in the factory. Squid is the main product of fishing on the eastern coast of Korea. This is also one of the most consumed seafood products in Korea. On average, a fishing vessel catches about 520,000 tons of squid. Most of these boats belong to the offshore fishing fleet. After preparing everything, the fishermen were ready to go to sea. Their fishing vessels are equipped with a powerful radar system. The reel automatically lifts it onto the metal rack. Baskets are placed here to catch all the falling squid. After the ship docked, fishermen quickly brought fresh squid ashore and distributed it to the market. This group of workers are in charge of receiving squid, and poor quality squid are discarded. The entire squid is washed in clean water. After that, workers will process and clean the internal organs. They can process around 12,000 squid each day. That's work that machines can't do, and it's all done by hand. Workers wash squid gently several times to avoid damaging the skin. At the same time, they remove activity and serve to process more products. Workers arrange squid in layers for easy cooling. The weight of the trays will vary depending on the size of the squid. After that, the squid is packaged to move to the freezing stage. Along the Korean coast, mackerel is caught in large quantities. It is also a familiar food ingredient that is always on people's dining tables. The meat of the mackerel caught by the net is of unreliable quality compared to mackerel caught by line. Because the fish are not bled before processing and can lie in nets of tropical waters for many hours before being brought ashore. However, this is still to catching. Fishermen often preserve them with salt. Salted mackerel has become a favorite dish of many. At factories, salted mackerel is made from premium fresh mackerel, combined with traditional fish salting secrets. The most important thing is to maintain the freshness of the original ingredients. Because mackerel rots so quickly, workers must always make sure to keep the mackerel fresh. The producer purchased premium mackerel through an auction at the Busan Fish Market, which has a quick freezing facility. They only bring in enough mackerel for one production session. This will ensure workers have enough time to process and the mackerel stays fresh throughout the production process. When mackerel is transported to the factory, workers begin to separate the mackerel's belly and remove fish is found widely around the Korean peninsula. Pollock move south from the North Pacific in the fall. They reach the coast of Hamgyongdo province in September or October. They also reach the coast of Gwangdo province in November or December. This abundance allows pollock fishing activities to often take place in domestic waters. Fishermen mainly use large-scale trawl fishing methods, including midline and bottom trawls. This method is effective in catching large quantities, especially in deeper waters where pollock reside. In 2023, South Korea's pollock catch was reported to be around 320,000 pounds. Pollock is caught offshore and quickly frozen for transport to meet the increased demand for dried pollock and save production time for fishermen. They are widely used in Korean cuisine and are known for their natural sweetness and delicious chewy texture. However, dried pollock products from the factory are not as popular as naturally dried pollock. Besides dry processing, pollock fillet is also popular in Korea. At the factory, workers will remove bones from the meat. The fillet is then marinated with spices before freezing. Then, when frozen, the pocket fillets will be easily weighed and packaged. The vast ocean, where thousands of species of seafood live. When the oceans. This is a fun way to connect with nature and have a unique experience in the underwater world. From the simple handheld spears used in ancient times, fishing equipment has evolved to more effective and powerful solutions. Spear guns are the clearest proof. It operates using a compression spring mechanism. The rubber bands are then pulled and locked to the shaft. When you pull the trigger, the spear will be pushed forward with great force. But how do fishermen use spear guns to take down giant fish? Let's follow the footsteps of marlin fish hunters to find out. Marlin season usually begins in late winter and lasts into summer. The best time to target with a spear is late January, with the peak being March to April. If you're lucky, the skipjack will attract a hungry marlin to check out. This is the perfect opportunity for fishermen to take their shot. Before pulling the trigger on the spear gun, it is extremely important that you check your body for any lines, as once the spear is inserted, it is very difficult to untangle any tangles. It rushed forward very quickly. Seeing the hunter, the marlin turned tail and tried to run away. Immediately, the fisherman fired a shot. It carried the spear and rope and swam a short distance, swimming everywhere to find a way to survive. With a visibility of about 10 meters underwater, thanks to the rope, the fisherman quickly found the marlin's location. New Zealand waters are famous for some of the world's largest kingfish. Local and international fishermen hunt these mighty fish from October to April. The fun begins once the kingfish has been located. They often swim in groups and hunt in groups. With its curious nature, kingfish will often come close to fishermen. Therefore, the fact that fishermen present themselves as strange objects in the water is enough to attract them. The best method is to dive in the direction they are swimming. Plan your descent so you can block the kingfish's swim and take your shot. When stabbing fish, fishermen try to aim right at the pectoral fins behind the gill plate. This will produce a high damage shot, resulting in the kingfish struggling less and dying more quickly. Once a solid hit is achieved, the diver can surface and keep an eye out when diving to the bottom to ensure the fisherman can surface safely. Compared to marlin or kingfish, red snapper is smaller in size. This means they are more difficult to hunt. Through many years of spearfishing, fishermen have found that the most important factor when stalking red snapper is stealth. They need to be as quiet as possible in the water when stalking red snapper. Red snapper are commonly found at depths of 30 to 620 feet in the Gulf of Mexico and along the east coast of North America and Central America. They often hide in the crevices of rock or coral structures, making them difficult to detect. Red snapper will be most active at dawn and dusk, as this is when they are most likely strategy, patience, and time in the water. Even if everything goes in your favor, there is no guarantee you will succeed. That is the interesting point of this underwater hunting sport. Besides snappers, octopuses are also difficult to hunt with spears, as they are masters of camouflage. It can change color to blend in with its surroundings and can pounce on any unwary prey that strays in its path. Octopuses often hunt at dusk. Fishermen can rely on this feature to find and hunt octopuses. Fishermen look for a coral reef or rocky seabed where an octopus can make a den. They will drop the anchor into the water and wait for the anchor to hit the bottom before diving. During diving, fishermen look for cracks and possible hiding places to find octopuses. With just one wrong step, it's not difficult to imagine how an accident could happen. The spear gun has incredible speed, enough to provide a range of several feet underwater. The spear shot through anything that stood in its way. Although its design was for hunting, spear guns can also kill people. In case the spear gun accidentally explodes or mistakenly hits a teammate, it can injure or even kill the fisherman. Fishermen shared that in some cases, visibility was very bad and their minds kept thinking about dangerous problems. If a shark appears, the fisherman will watch helplessly as it steals his bait and end the hunting trip immediately if he does not want to be attacked by a shark.